Success is simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And if you sit down with anybody and they go, well, every day I just do this, 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 and this. And you go, that's it? And they go, that's it. This, and this. Anybody can do that one day.
Yeah.
How many people can do that day in and day out without fail?
What's up, everybody? This is Brian Hugh with Empower and Design, show number 6, where we talk all things design and business with a focus on leadership. So we'll be talking with one of my good friends, Nic Dixon, aka Nic The Realtor, from Keller Williams City Side, about what his leadership style is like, how he got into real estate, and what trends he sees coming forth in the next year or so as far as residential real estate.
Sounds good to me. I'm happy to be here, Brian.
Why don't you start off by telling me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I am, as you stated, Nic The Realtor. I got into real estate back in 2013. That's when I got my license. And right around 2013, the real estate market just started coming out of the gutter.
Yeah.
Depending on how old you are, 2007 was the end of one of the wildest rides that the real estate market in America had ever seen. They were like, housing prices are going to go up forever.
Yep.
And who knew? It was a big house of cards. Everything kind of crashed and collapsed, and the banking institutions went into financial meltdown and all of that. And there was a mass exodus from the real estate industry. There was all kind of people getting out. And
yeah, it was definitely crazy. I was going back to school for my third time in 2008, and I did not know a lot about that. And now I mean, looking back at it, you're right. It was about 2013 because I graduated in 2011, and it took a couple years before the industry and or society in general came back.
Yeah, it was rough because it was all tied into the financial markets too.
Yeah.
And which brings me to actually how I got into real estate. So I've always been a little bit of a nerd. When I was in high school, I was actually really fascinated by the stock market. And I thought I was going to get into investment banking or go work at one of these like capital markets firms and help people like pick stocks. Like I thought that's what I was going to get into, and actually ended up going in a totally different direction. I was in pharmaceutical sales.
Oh, wow.
But while I was in pharmaceutical sales, I became super fascinated in the real estate market and trying to understand like what makes it tick. So I was a part of different real estate investment associations. I bought all kinds of books on how to invest in real estate. And the more and more I got into it, the more and more I wanted to know. So I left my pharmaceutical sales job, knowing that I was ready to start my own business. I always had this desire to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to sell real estate. Like, I didn't think I'm going to be a real estate agent. I was like, I actually just want to like get my license so that I can like know everything about real estate and invest in real estate. Well, when I got to class my first day, the professor that or the teacher that we had said, I don't know if you all know what you're doing right now in this class, but you have picked the best time to get your real estate market or to get your real estate license because of what's going on in the market right now. The market has bottomed out and it's on its way up, and we're getting ready to have a big run as it relates to house appreciation, and you guys are going to be able to get in here and ride this wave. And I said, that sounds intriguing. So from there, I decided to hang my license with Keller Williams, who in the business of real estate is known for having like the best training in the business. Like if you want to go someplace and you want to know how to do the business, Keller Williams has got, I mean, they get ranked for, it doesn't matter for just real estate, just companies in general for having like the best training.
All right. So at Keller Williams, what's the culture like? You're at Cityside. How many agents are at, that location?
We have quite a few agents out of that office. I'm a part of a larger group of offices in the Metro Atlanta area. And then, of course, Keller Williams is international. So,
yeah. I mean, they're all over the place.
And the culture.
Yeah, so, what's the culture like at your office and just Keller Williams in general? I guess.
So the KW culture, as we just talked about, training is of course very big. And the second thing I would say is they're really big on a culture of, how do I describe it? It's very helpful.
Okay.
The people who are there, whether it's other agents or it's your team leader or people, everyone's very cooperative in helping each other want to succeed. And they also are focused on helping you build a business. They're not just about people coming in and being real estate agents. They also say, how can we help you develop a business? And they're also very holistic. So the way that they go about doing things, they want you to be a whole person. So for example, they have some goal setting tools that we use. And in those goal setting tools, there's a section for personal goals. So they want you to talk about the fact that you want to start going to the gym more. You want to start eating healthier. You want to set up vacations. They encourage you to be an entire person, and they're not just focused on the bottom line. How do we get more sales out of this person? Their focus is, they would ask questions like, what's your big why?
Yeah.
Why are you here? And not just like here at this office, but why are you on this earth? What is your purpose? How can this business help you in defining your purpose?
What fuels your leadership passion and I guess your purpose for your job and then, as a whole?
So one of the things that I didn't want for my life was, there's a lot of Americans who, I don't even have to say Americans, we could just say in general, just across the world, that are in jobs and careers that aren't fulfilling or that they don't like. And when we look at how many hours a day we spend working, it was important for me to have the opportunity to spend those waking hours where I'm working doing something that I feel is fulfilling purpose, doing something that I enjoy, doing things that are in my areas of strength and expertise. And because of the models they have at Keller Williams, they help you to do that for other people too, which is super exciting. So their culture and their way of thinking about what jobs should be are in close alignment with mine. So I currently have employees that work on my team.
Okay.
I have the ability to put them into jobs that they like. I have the ability to put them in the jobs that suit their strengths. So,
and that's the way that people learn and grow the best. So,
yes, I've heard the kind of the analogy of, if you take a fish and you put them in the ocean, they're a genius. But if you take a fish and tell them to climb a tree, they're an idiot. And for me, I don't want to bring fish into my organization and tell them to climb trees.
Yeah.
Put them in a natural environment for them to succeed and thrive. And, I've got systems that I use from Keller Williams and other places to do the best that I can for the people that I bring into my organization, have them doing things that they're going to excel in.
Yeah.
With their strengths, things that they're going to enjoy.
Oh, wow. So what are some of the, I guess, the trends that you see coming forth in the next year or so as far as residential real estate? I personally think that we're starting to hit the top end of real estate before a downturn, I guess you would say.
It is really hard to predict the future. But what I can do is provide some perspective.
Yeah.
Of where we are and where we've been, and then what some of the projections are that are coming from some of the economists about what the future may hold.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, I came into the real estate industry back in 2013. If we go back in time a little bit, back to 2007, where we peaked, 2008, 9, 10 rough years, really rough years. What made those years so rough? Well, there were two things. One, there was an insane amount of inventory. And when I say inventory, in a market, you're either a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market.
Okay.
Buyer's market's good for buyers. Seller's market, good for sellers. Balanced market, everybody, buyers and sellers, kind of have an equal shake. There's a mathematical formula to tell you whether or not you're in which market. Back then, 2010, we were sitting at 15 months of inventory in some markets. So we're talking in 15 months, if no new houses came on the market, everything would be gone. So if no new houses came, it would take a year or more for everything to go away. Balanced market means you have about 6 months of inventory. So that's the most ideal or normal market conditions. Right now, 2021, in many places, we're looking at less than 1.
Oh, wow.
0.8, meaning if no new houses came on the market in less than 30 days, everything would be gone.
That is crazy.
So the inventory, when you're looking at economics 101 is supply and demand, right? What are the things that are driving those two things? So the problem that we're facing right now is what's driving these housing prices. It's our supply problem. There is a massive supply problem. Coupled that with the fact that we've got the lowest interest rates on record known to man in the United States. People are getting interest rates 2-3%. The first house that I bought was double that easily in the interest rate. So that's where we are right now. The other thing is the type of loans that people are getting right now are very different than the ones they were getting before the market collapse.
Oh, yeah.
They used to give loans, they used to call them, I don't remember the exact term because there were some mortgage brokers that were sharing this joke with me, but it was something along the lines of I think they called them like mirror loans or something. It was like, if you could fog a mirror, then you could get a loan.
What?
Basically, you were breathing.
That's crazy.
And yep, he's alive. All right, here's a loan, and it really was crazy because banks were able to take all kinds of risks and then take those loans, package them up, and then sell them off into, like, I think they call it the secondary markets.
Okay.
And then you had big institutions like AIG who were insuring these. And then you had ratings institutions calling these junk mortgages AAA. And they were being sold all across the world.
So I never really understood how I guess the AAA, the rating system, as far as like how that works.
Mm-hmm. There's independent bodies that go in and analyze securities, basket securities. So what is a mortgage but a security? You know, someone is like, hey, there's this this note that's whatever $300,000 and it's got whatever 6% interest and it's paying this every month, and AAA means odds are they're going to pay this back. Okay. And then on the lower side, if it was a B minus or C rated, that would mean these are risky, right? Okay. You're going to have a higher return on these, but you're going to know that these are risky. Well, back then, from my understanding, those rating systems weren't very quality, obviously, because we're buying these things thinking they were buying something that was AAA quality. And I think that was a bit of an overstatement considering how many people started defaulting on those homes. And when those defaults started happening, that's when you started seeing banks couldn't stay afloat. They were begging the United States government for money and all of that. So that is not happening right now.
No, it's not. I mean, I was doing some research and they used to give you loans for like 125 LTV, which is loan to value
125%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the banks are a lot more prudent. I mean, they even tightened up a bit more after the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they're looking at people's jobs. What kind of, you're a server. Well, there's a lot of restaurants going out of business, so we need some additional paperwork from you. So they're a lot more strict in who they're providing loans to compared to back then.
Yeah, definitely.
When you look back then at equity, people did not have as much equity in their homes on the whole back when the market collapsed. Now, people have equity in their houses. And that also plays a factor because back then, right, the housing market took a big dip.
Yeah.
And someone had bought a house for 300 and now it's worth 250.
Yep.
And then they may have gotten 125% loan. And instead of taking that 25 and putting it back in the house, maybe they took that 25% and ran off to Mexico on a big vacation.
Like most people do in society. Ooh, I got extra money. Let me go spend it on something.
Yeah, so that was a problem. So people were stuck in these houses. Well, a lot of them put down, they had 100% financing. So they were like, oh, well, I can't afford to pay my mortgage. I'll just let it go. And there were a lot of people that did that because they didn't have, any skin in the game. And I'm not saying there's not 100% programs out today, because they are. The way they're doing it, the way they're going about it, the processes, the protections that the government now has put into place to prevent this from happening again are a lot different.
Yeah.
So as we're moving forward, if people are thinking that 2008, 9, 10 is coming back, the market conditions don't look the same. Now, I don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. And I'm not here telling you that there won't be a collapse because I have no idea.
Yeah.
What I am here telling you is the fundamentals that
it's definitely different than 2008.
Are very different. And right now, what's driving things are low interest rates and the inventory, the fact that we
Yeah.
have the inventory. So as interest rates begin to come up, is that going to affect the rocket-paced housing price increases that we're seeing right now? Absolutely. That will have an impact. What does that impact look like? I don't know exactly. And the question becomes for buyers is because the market is softening some and interest rates are higher, is that necessarily better, right?
Yeah. So what other, I guess, things do you see coming in the real estate business or industry?
So that's the big question, right? What innovations are going to come into the market in order to create more opportunities for people to own homes?
Yeah.
And we're seeing certain things come in, like 3D printed houses. Have you seen this?
I have a little bit, but I haven't actually seen one in real life.
I haven't seen one in real life either. I've seen them online. If you go to YouTube and just type
Yeah.
in house, and you see they've got these huge machines and they put all the programming in, and the machine is just literally like printing a house. So
Definitely becoming the Jetsons, if you remember that television show from when we were growing up.
I do. Yes. So that's the question are there some things that we can do to innovate?
Yeah.
The question becomes, like, in some municipalities here, even in Georgia. So let's say I've got 2 acres of land. Like, how many, if I have 2 acres of land in a city, like, how many houses do you think I should be able to put on 2 acres?
At the very least 8, but if you do multifamily, you could probably get 12, 16 maybe.
So the way that the zoning is, and I know a very specific, actually a couple specific parcels that are 2 acres in size. And because of the way the zoning laws are written, it will only fit 1 house.
What?
Yes.
In the city?
Yes, it only fit 1 house because of the way the zoning
Oh boy.
is written. And it's one of those things where as communities, we kind of have to come together and think through what can we do in order to create sustainable options so that we can have people continue to buy and live in this community, because the way that prices are for lumber and everything else, if you can only build 1 house on 2 acres, that's going to create some barriers to entry.
Yep, definitely.
To be able
and I know, what was it? Oh, Tiny House Atlanta Micro Life Institute. They finally are in the process of finishing up their tiny houses, and they put, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was like maybe 8 houses on a quarter or half an acre. It's crazy.
So those are the types of things that I think we'll start seeing moving forward. These conversations around how do we innovate in the housing market to create more accessibility for different types of housing stock.
So what is one habit, trait, or mindset that you're currently working on personally or just through your business or whatnot?
Number 1 would be consistency.
Okay.
One of the interesting things that one of the things I find interesting about success when I talk to different people who are successful and who are continually improving is success is simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And if you sit down with anybody and they go, well, every day I just do this, 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 and this. And you go, that's it? And they go, that's it. This, 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 and this. Anybody can do that one day.
Yeah.
How many people can do that day in and day out without fail?
So where can everybody find you on social media, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, Keller Williams website?
Yeah. So on Facebook and LinkedIn, you can find me with my government name, Nicholas B. Dixon. And I have a business page on my Facebook, which is Nic The Realtor.
Okay.
And you can find me on Instagram at Nic The Realtor. I spell my name different. There's no K. Just
Okay.
see The Realtor. And then that's also my website, nictherealtor.com. And I see therealtor.com.
Oh, hey. Well, it's been great talking with you. We talked about, how you got into selling real estate, what your leadership style is like, what's the culture of, Keller Williams and your company is like, and what trends you kind of see. But before I let you go, what advice do you have for aspiring leaders, whether that's getting into real estate or just anything in general, as far as their passion and understanding their passion?
Yeah. I would say there's a couple things that I would focus on. One would be being honest and true to yourself. This sounds really stupid, but just being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And the way that you can do that, sit down with your loved ones and people that you know and that you trust and have honest conversation with them and say, hey, look, I'm trying to take like a personal inventory of myself. What do you think I'm good at? Like, what do I bring to the table? What do you think I'm bad at? Like, you're not going to hurt my feelings. They might hurt your feelings depending on.
Well, I mean, exactly.
You want to get real. You want to get raw. The second thing that you can do is I'm a personality type junkie. So I like taking these different types of like personality tests and stuff. One of the ones that I enjoy is called DISC.
Okay. Yeah.
DISC. And that's one good one to kind of give you. You can Google this stuff too.
Yeah.
There's another book called Discover Your Strengths 2.0.
I've never heard of it. Okay, I'll look into that.
Discover Your Strengths 2.0. And it's not really a book you quote unquote read. Yeah. When you buy the book, you go to the website and you have a special code to take the personality assessment. The assessment results come back and they tell you what your top strengths are. And you go to the book to read about your top strengths.
Oh, wow. Interesting. That's really cool. I've never heard of that book. And I definitely am going to try that out because I'm also a very personality trait, junkie. Let me better understand myself, always looking to learn and grow. So.
Mm-hmm. And the last tip I'll give is looking outside for models. Like yes. who inspires you? And read about them. So I've been on a big memoir kick. I like reading just people who have accomplished things, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be in your field. But if there's someone that you look up to, someone that you respect, or someone you're just curious about, see if they've written anything, see if they have any memoirs, find out what they like to read. On top of that, you might be able to find some articles and they go, I really like this book. I really enjoyed that book, and read the stuff that they're reading. And sometimes that'll help to get the juices flowing and spark some things inside of you and help you identify with some things about yourself that you may not have been aware of, or help you figure out a next step that you were trying to figure out towards the path. So sitting, a lot of times, if you feel like you're stuck, people can get into this insular thing where they sit down with a blank sheet of paper and go, I'm just going to sit here until I figure out the solution. And sometimes you don't have enough movement. You don't have enough kinetic energy. And sometimes you've got to engage with external outside forces to kind of get some of that internal dialogue going. And everybody, of course, is different. So for me, that works. And just tapping into different external resources, whether it's reading or taking different type of, personality assessment, or talking to friends or family, and asking those types of deep probing questions can sometimes kickstart you in a direction. And then when you get those promptings and you get that data, start walking in that and experiment. Forget about failure. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if you have a prompting and you don't like it. Just use that as data to move on and keep moving forward to the next thing. Always be moving forward and not sitting back in fear going, well, I don't want to make another mistake. People are going to think I'm a flake. People are going to think that. Who cares? Like you're not going to sit down on your deathbed and go, this is so stupid that I tried all that stuff. No, sit down on your deathbed going, why did I sit there and fear the whole time, afraid to like try that thing that was pulling? That's what you're going to be thinking about. So go out and do that stuff. Go out there and take a risk. Do something that makes your heart beat.
Thank you all for watching Empower and Design. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, or share this content. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next episode of Empower and Design. Thank you.